that people are talking about today. It builds off of all the other firestorms that we've heard in the last week, but it's now a new one. It is a memo that James Comey wrote detailing a conversation he had in the Oval Office with the president. The day following Michael Flynn's resignation as National Security Advisor, in which Comey felt uncomfortably like the president was trying to use his influence to get him to drop the investigation into Michael Flynn and his potential ties to Russia. Now, this is bad news for the White House because it creates a potential paper trail that goes into these other allegations about the president trying to obstruct justice in terms of this Russia investigation, which he himself already came out and said was on his mind when he fired James Comey as FBI director.
As soon as that story broke, then Jason Chaffetz, Republican, dropped another mini bombshell. What did he say?
Well, the bombshells keep coming, but Chaffetz wants to actually investigate this, and he's probably best known for his tenacious going after Hillary Clinton for her violation of potentially classified information in her private email server. And now he says he wants the FBI to produce all of the documents relating to these conversations. And he's also been asking for these tapes. Remember, the president raised the possibility of secret Oval Office tapes on Twitter when he fired James Comey. So I should say that the White House is denying the substance of these reports. They don't think that the president actually was trying to influence the FBI to drop the investigation. But that's certainly not how the then director of the FBI felt.
Lana, any other Republicans say anything or break with President Trump over the last number of hours?
You know, I'll put it this way. I've been speaking with lots of Republicans. Yesterday I was up on the Hill talking to them about it. While they're not going so far as some Democrats, we've heard from a couple who are actually using the word impeachment, most other Democrats using the word independent investigation. They're noticeably just silent on this issue. Yesterday, the leadership was talking about health care. They answered some questions about Russia and the president and James Comey, but really what they wanted to talk about was anything except for this. I think that for a lot of White House reporters, they're seeing that as an indication that the Republican Party is starting to pull some of their heavy endorsements of the president, their defense of the president away, though I wouldn't say that we've heard any of them really jump on the Democratic calls for country over party.
Lana, Zach, it seems like sitting here in St. Louis that Donald Trump should have his head on a swivel, and he's getting it from all sides. He doesn't know where it's coming next, and it seems like every single day someone from the intelligence community, somebody who was inside government or whatever else is dropping these bombshells. More to come, and what's the thought inside administration officials? They've got to be shell-shocked by this.
They certainly feel like they are under assault, that these leaks continue to come. You know, whenever they have a conversation about leaks, we always learn about it in the media. So that this White House is just a sieve and leaking information everywhere. The president, we know, is very upset and concerned about that. But in a lot of ways, these crises are created by the president himself. If, in fact, he did try and influence the FBI director to drop an investigation into one of his associates, that's a problem that the president created, not his staff, not other administration officials. So, and even with his firing of James Comey, with his tweets about secret Oval Office tapes, these are all problems that we're hearing the White House try to contain, that in some ways are unforced errors by the president.
Also, on a side note, Kimberly Guilfoyle of Fox News is going around telling people that she's going to be the new Sean Spicer. Turns out Sean Spicer still has his job, so she's leaking information before she's even in the job in an administration that's being criticized for having too many leakers.
With a person who's potentially going to take on communications.
Right.
You know, this White House, I think, is in search of some discipline, and they certainly feel the need for it, but they just haven't been able to implement it. And some of that comes from the chaos theory that comes from the Oval Office. We know that Donald Trump's leadership style as a businessman has also transferred over to his leadership style now as president. And in some ways, it's he shoots from the hip, and that's something that this White House is trying to figure out how to best effectively communicate their message.
Lana, we're also hearing through the grapevine leaks reports that James Comey wants to testify, but only if it's in public.
That's right. His associates of Comey's that have been speaking with us here at ABC News say that he wants to be able to answer questions on the record about his performance as FBI director. And remember, that was something that has been under assault since his firing, both in the Rosenstein memo and in President Trump's comments and in the White House's comments following his termination. So he wants to be able to do that in a public forum. But his associates say he's not looking for publicity. The letter that he wrote to his friends and former staff members, said that he wants to move forward, but his reputation has come under assault, and he wants to be able to publicly answer questions about what he did and why he thought it was proper as FBI director.
Timeline on when he would come and testify.
Well, he was invited to come this week. That was going to be, that initial invitation that came from the Senate was for a private briefing, and that's the one that he declined. So at earliest, it would be next week, likely. But I gotta say, and you know this too, McGraw, that things here are changing by the minute. So we have to stay on alert, because Comey may decide that he wants to come in front of the Senate tomorrow, and the Senate says, yes, we'll have you. So we're going to be on constant alert for all the changes.
Lana Zak, ABC News correspondent in Washington, D.C. Lana, thanks for checking in.
Great to talk to you as always.
628, Big 550.